So my dad found some videos of me wrestling from, I want to say, probably about 10 years ago, and it was crazy to see them, and I figured we'd take a look at them right now. So as of right now, there's 4 matches that we're going to be taking a look at, and if I can find any more, I'll definitely include them in this video. And I'm pretty sure it's 2 wins, 2 losses. So, you know, you're going to get a little mix of how I was as a wrestler. You're not just going to see the triumphs. You're also going to see times where I didn't quite end up on top. Also, these videos are pretty old, so the quality is not going to be that good, but don't worry. Just bear with me. You should be able to see everything. But with that said, let's take a look at this first video. This was actually part of a tournament that took place in an aircraft hangar, which I think is actually really cool. I'm on the left. You can't really see me too well because I'm obstructed by the referee, and my opponent is on the right. So let's go. Alright, so we tie up immediately. We're both almost heavyweights. We're one weight class below heavyweight. So you're going to see a lot of tying up, a lot of bully wrestling. He's got the inside control right now, but I shuck it off right there. My coach right here is calling for a single leg. I end up tying up, and I try to give him that single leg. So right here, I'm trying to switch to a double leg, and it doesn't quite end up working out. And the smarter move would have been to keep on circling because I would have popped out the back. But, you know, we make decisions in the heat of the moment. So, tying up. Again, he's got inside control, but I think I have inside control on his right arm. My coach calling for a snap down. I'm putting my... You see, I tried to go... I went for the snap down after I ended up putting my, my forehead into his cheek. And here I am going for a 2-on-1 on his right arm. I believe, yep, I still had it up until the point where I pushed him out. I think my coach called for that. My coach was an Ohio State wrestler, so I'd be foolish not to listen to literally everything he says all the time. So, we have the tie-up again. Fighting for that inside control. I think I was going for a snap down there. So he ends up going for a head throw, and I see what's going on, and I end up body locking and going the opposite way. Right now I'm teed off, and I end up transitioning to the grapevines to get the pin. So that was a really good match. I remember that one specifically because it was, if I remember correct, one of the first times that I ever got to use that kind of body lock. I really like that body lock when somebody tries to hip toss or head throw. I've heard so many different names for that move that dude tried to pull, right? It was the first time I got to use that, though, and it's really something that to this day I still use. It comes in handy so much, and until I had known that, basically, when somebody would try and hip toss me, it was like a 50-50 as to whether or not they were going to get it. Since then, I could probably count on one hand the number of times that somebody's actually been able to get me with any kind of throw that requires them to go hip to hip like that. That was a good match, though. I definitely did well. You know, sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off, and I think in that match I was definitely on. Okay, so this next match, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we're starting, like, right in the middle of the action. I don't know if we just started the match or if it's, like, halfway through a round or what, but it's going to be going right away. So, let's take a look. So, I kind of have, like a tie plum right now. I have both hands on the inside. I end up swimming again when he tries to swim. Give him a shove. Wow, look at the way I'm lumbering right now. That's terrible. So, I go for the tie-up, and I try to go for a knee pick, but it seemed half-hearted. I don't think I was really trying hard. I think right there, I was a little upset at him for something, so I was kind of being a smart-ass about the hand fighting. So, we go tie-up. He ends up going inside. He, again, has that tie plum as well. Oh, man, that was awful. That was terrible. I shot in, and I didn't set it up in any way. In addition to that, I kind of telegraphed by having my arms go out like that. So he ended up seeing it. He sprawled. He circled. That's 2 points for him. And this is the end of the, not match, but round. So one of us is going to end up on bottom or top, depending. Yes, so right here, this guy right here is going to be on bottom. I'm going to have the top position. So his job is going to be to try and get out. Mine is going to be to try and hold him down. All right, so it looks like I'm trying to put the legs in, I would assume, but you see he's able to kind of turn out, so it's much more of a fight than it should be. And yeah, he ended up being able to reverse the position. As soon as he got a hold of my leg, that was not good for me at all. So right now he is trying to cradle, and it looks like he's got it locked. And I'm fighting it, but I don't know. I mean, I would assume I don't get out of it. Yeah, he ends up putting me in the cradle. And yeah, so that cradle position is really tough to get out of when you end up in it. It's awful, you know, especially when he ends up putting you on your back. It's just so difficult. Yeah, I mean, I won't call it the best match ever. I don't even necessarily think it was a good match on my part. There are definitely things that I did wrong. I think the big thing that I'm upset at myself about, you looking back at this, is the way that I shot in without any form of setup. And then in addition to that, it was also very telegraphed. And that's something that kind of I still do sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think that's actually a way that jiu-jitsu has hurt my wrestling, because I spent years taking dudes down in the gym and stuff like that, and I thought that my wrestling had actually improved. And don't get me wrong, it definitely did. But when I went to a wrestling tournament a couple years ago, I ended up getting beat up by these dudes who, in theory, I should have been able to beat. And it's because they, at the very least, were practicing on dudes that would set their takedowns up. Me, when I wouldn't set my takedown up, they'd be like, wow, this is really easy to sprawl on. That tournament really opened up my eyes to the issue that I had, and since then I've been trying my best to rectify it. So this match starts right as the referee blew the whistle. So we're gonna be going right when I press play. Let's see. All right, so we're tying up right now. I think I have inside control, but he's swimming for it. So right now you can see I'm kind of trying to keep him at a distance, and I think that's probably because I'm taller and longer than this guy, so I'm gonna want to keep him at a distance that works for me. I think what I noticed there was we ended up going forehead to forehead, and I ended up taking my you see, and I did it here too. I took my forehead and I put it under his chin to try and straighten him out, to stand him up. That was a good idea on my part, and if I was smart, I would have continued doing that, because I don't want him to be in an athletic stance. So I kind of post off the head and I try to snap him down, but it doesn't quite work. I think I just kind of missed a little bit, if I'm being honest. So like I said, this is heavyweight wrestling. This is big boy wrestling. So there's going to be a lot of tie-ups. There's going to be a lot of trying to bully each other and stuff like that. But I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a referee, I might have been considering a stalling call on both of us right now. Neither of us are really trying to do much of anything. You know, we're just stalling. So I think he went for a snap down. It didn't quite do what he wanted it to do. I think I was probably just testing him there, because I really didn't go for that knee and the way it, I didn't go for it with any gusto. I ended up going for a snap down there. Oh man, it looks like I almost got that snatch single. That would have been slick. So I push him out of bounds. All right, again, kind of using that long guard to post. So tie up right now. And we shuck. Oh man, I almost had that too. See, that I used his forward motion to kind of get him to I'll pause this real quick. I used his forward motion against him. I ended up shooting in on it. I don't think he expected me to do that. It would have been nice if I set it up, though, I will say, right? That wasn't really like a setup. I just kind of timed it right. If I had gone like head tap, it might have stood him up straight, and then I could have went underneath, and I might have been able to get that. I think also I probably didn't really. I mean, I didn't shoot straight through him. I should have really invaded his space and shot through. I just kind of hit the legs and then I stopped, and that he was able to sprawl out because of that. There's no reason that he should have been able to do that. So like it was cool to see that, but also there's a reason why I didn't get it. There's a lot of things that kind of went wrong there, and it's on me. But that was the end of the round. I don't know if me shooting in close to the end of the round was a tactical decision on my part or not. It might have been, but also I might have just I might have been getting nervous because even then I probably would have known like we haven't done anything. I don't want to get called for stalling. But right now we are going to go to round 2. We're going to start off in the referee's position. All right, so it looks like he is on bottom, I'm on top. So his goal is going to be to get out. My goal is going to be to stay on top and try and pin him, basically. So I chop the arm, we sit out, and I end up going to the legs. So I'm leg riding right now. I have a power half that I'm trying to get. That doesn't quite work, so I kind of switch to a crossface, and I'm trying to put his shoulder blades to the mat. So I have him flattened out right now. I'm pushing his head into the mat, which is always a good thing. You could always work to do that. Right now I'm kind of working for a half. I got the power half again. So he's kind of stuck here. There isn't really too much he can do. I'm riding his legs, but he ended up getting out there, and he ends up rolling. Now he ended up rolling, and I ended up on bottom. You didn't quite get that, but I'm in real danger right here because even if I'm not being pinned, which I am in the process of being pinned, but even if I don't get pinned, he's still accruing back points. He can get 3 points off of that. He will get 3 points. So I spin. I'm trying to build a base right now. This dude does a tight waist and he ends up chopping the arm. He goes for a handcuff, and he also has a ball and chain right now. That's what that is called. It's really annoying. So that's more back points that he just got. So he's accruing points right now. He is ahead. He ends up chopping the arm, and I would assume the referee blew the whistle because we were just about out of the circle. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna start over, and I have to start over on bottom. I'm really tired right now. You can tell because I'm taking my sweet time. This dude looks tired as well. Like I said, we're big boys, man. So he tried to chop. I knew that, but I ended up getting out of the way. I was trying to do a technical stand-up. It didn't quite work. Oh, man, almost. I was almost able to reverse that if I had just turned in a little bit quicker. So right now he's just kind of trying to tight waist. He doesn't really have much, and oh, man, I almost had him there, but he rolled through. So right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get pinned here. I might, but oh, man, no, I got saved by the bell there. I really got saved by the bell there. I probably would have got pinned. As you can see, we're both not really happy to be here right now. We were both kind of hoping we would one of us would have made a mistake and we could have got the pin sooner, I would assume. All right, so we started off neutral there, which is interesting. Somebody decided to go neutral instead of picking top or bottom. Huh. So, again, we're tying up, and now it's because we're tired. And I go for the hip toss, but he rolls through. I went for that hip toss out of a desperation move, and he ended up doing basically the same move that we saw in the first match that we looked at today. And, yeah, there's the pin. I don't know if you could hear. My dad was like, that's bull. And it's like, I don't know if it was. I mean, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I know I was still fighting. The thing about pins in wrestling is that they can be, they're a little bit arbitrary, right? You'll have a situation where the rules state it's both shoulder blades on the mat for 1 second, but the referee will still call it even if it's just one shoulder blade, and it's because he feels that maybe you're not fighting hard enough or anything like that, right? And I mean, look, it's been 10 years. I'm not going to be like angry about a match that happened 10 years ago, but I definitely can remember times where I was fighting, and they called it. Or maybe, I didn't have both shoulder blades on the mat, but I wasn't fighting that hard. I was just kind of holding position, hoping to run the clock out. And the referee called the pin anyway, right? Like I said, it's a little bit arbitrary. It can be annoying sometimes, but it is what it is. You shouldn't have been in a position to get pinned in the first place. A lot of things happened that should not have happened if you were in that position to start. So it's kind of the way that it is. But let's go ahead and take a look at the last one. So for this last video, there's two things. One, sorry about the YouTube Shorts thing. I had to upload this to YouTube and then pull it down. That's the only way I could transfer it from one place to another. So, it's annoying, but it doesn't really get in the way. The other thing is these black bars on the side might move a little bit. I had to stabilize this video. It was really the only way to make it watchable. So it's just those two things, but everything else is going to be pretty much okay. Let's go ahead. Alright, so I tie up immediately, and I get a front headlock position right out the gate, followed by a knee pick from that front headlock position. So right now I have a cradle if I want it, but I don't think I exactly go for it. Yeah, I end up letting it go. He tries to belly out, but I end up catching a half Nelson right there. And I was teed off, but I was a little bit high, so I ended up transitioning to the grapevines, and I end up getting a very, very quick pin. That was real quick, and I even give him a pat on the head. I don't know why I did that. I probably was just trying to be a good sport, give him a pat on the back or something like that. But I basically ended up big broing him by mistake. So my bad, dude. I don't know if you're out there. I don't know if you're out there watching this, but my bad. I didn't mean to do that in front of all those people. But yeah, I mean, really, really good match. Like I said, sometimes you're just on, sometimes you're just off. And I'm not really ashamed of any of the matches that I have in this video. There are matches that, they don't keep me up at night or anything like that, but I do think back to them and I'm like, oh man, what if instead of going left, I went right? But none of these matches, whether I won or lost, are matches that I'm really not, I wouldn't say proud of, but they're not something that I feel ashamed of, and that's why I'm showing them to you. When I think about wrestling back in high school, I remember that I really was not that good. That's not something that I will even try and contest. I don't consider myself to be the world's greatest grappler or anything like that. I think maybe I'm okay, but I'm not especially good or definitely not great. But I love the hell out of it, and I miss the hell out of this. And if I could go back, I would in a heartbeat. There are actually some kids that I used to teach jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai to that I pushed into wrestling, and they ended up taking it up, and they really enjoyed it to the point where I don't even teach them jiu-jitsu anymore. They just do wrestling in the off-season. I think wrestling is one of those things that no matter how good or bad you do, you end up looking back on it fondly, and it's not something you want to miss out on if you're big into grappling and stuff like that. If you're in high school and you do jiu-jitsu, you should definitely wrestle if you're able to. But with that said, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and also sub for more, and if you have any questions for me, hit me up on Instagram at Scott Sullivan MMA. I like making question and answer videos for people. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, good luck out there.